Some of you have heard me talking about accessibility in the past or even recently, but today I want to get more specific about it. To mark Global Accessibility Awareness Day, I want to talk about the one accessibility feature that's made the biggest impact for me as a visually impaired person, and that feature happens to be Apple's VoiceOver screen reader. Now, Apple has a variety of accessibility features for the blind and visually impaired, like invert colors, speak screen, and zoom magnification. But for me, VoiceOver has made, like I said, the biggest impact and is the most important feature for me that I use the most. This is part of a collab, and yes, I did collab with a fellow YouTuber and a friend. Her name is Emily Davison, although most of you might know her as Fashioneyesta.
Hello everyone, I hope that you're all well. Today's video is going to be a video talking about how I, as a visually impaired person, use and interact with technology. So I have my iPhone, my MacBook and my iPad here today, and in today's video I am going to be talking about the specific features that are built in on my devices that enable me as a visually impaired person to use them.
I'm going to leave a link to Emily's video in the description below, or also on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen. Go check it out. Now I want to mention something really quick before I start saying anything about VoiceOver. Okay, no shame here. Apple fan, you're looking at one. Apple products have been with me basically since the beginning of my filmmaking journey. And now that I'm using features like VoiceOver, I really like their products even more now. And I know there's Android fans and fans of Windows, and they say that yes, there's accessibility features for those, and definitely there's nothing wrong with that, because I choose Apple products because they're the best for me and for my needs. And that's what you should be asking yourself anyway. I mean, if you're choosing between Apple and Android, Windows or Mac, what's going to work best for you? That's what's really going to matter here. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So anyway, back to VoiceOver. For those of you who don't know, VoiceOver is an accessibility feature. It's a screen reader that's built into all Apple products, which allows for blind and visually impaired users to use all Apple products. I first learned VoiceOver about 3 years ago on the iPhone, and while I knew about it, I was rather intimidated because I didn't know what to expect. It just seemed like something that was out of reach for me. The instructor who showed me VoiceOver was great. I mean, he showed me what to do, he showed me exactly what steps to take, and just how to practice. And the more I practiced, the easier it got, and lo and behold, I'm using VoiceOver now more than I am my phone without VoiceOver. And it's not just my phone now. I also use VoiceOver on my iPad, on my Apple Watch, on my Mac of course, and even on my Apple TV. When you think about it, it's really awesome that there's a program out there that's actually built in that lets you access the same things that a sighted person can. Granted, some things are more difficult because some are more visual, that happen to deal with pictures and videos and things like that, but for the most part, for almost everything else, it's very doable to do with VoiceOver. The biggest reason why I like VoiceOver is that it cuts down that screen time for me. And this is where VoiceOver really shines for me, because when I don't need to use a screen, that's when it really feels like an advantage for me, because I don't have to strain my eyes. I don't have to worry about getting a migraine later, because when you're sighted, you actually have to look down at your phone. But when you're blind or visually impaired, and if you know how to use VoiceOver, you just have to listen. If you're out in public, then you just put on a set of earbuds or AirPods and you're good to go. It's also great to do voice dictation with VoiceOver turned on, because I'm able to make corrections, check my spelling. I can go an entire day just without having to look at any screens and still be productive online, or just, be able to type stuff up, be able to type documents up. And I think it's great to be able to just use my ears and still be able to use a phone or a tablet or a computer, a watch, exactly like how someone who's sighted would. Now that I've explained a little bit, let me show you how it works exactly. So using my phone as an example, here's my home screen, and the first app is highlighted, and it's highlighted with what's called the VoiceOver cursor. And to go to the next app to the right, I just flick with one finger to the right.
Calendar, Monday, May 18th.
And to go to the next app, I just flick to the right again.
Photos. Double tap to open.
And now if I want to go back, I flick to the left.
Calendar, Monday, May 18th.
If I flick to the left again, I go back to messages.
Messages. Double tap to open.
So basically that's how it works in a nutshell. And if you're on a list, if you want to go to the next item further down, you flick right, and if you want to go up, you flick left. If you have a second page of apps and you want to go to the next page, you just swipe with 3 fingers from left to right.
Page 3 of 3. Folder. 19 apps. Double tap to open.
Folder. I ran that. Do not name your folder that. And to select anything, you just make sure the item is highlighted and just double tap with 1 finger and it'll open it up.
Notes. Double tap to open. Notes. Note. Text field.
And you don't have to just flick around. You can just slide your finger around and it'll tell you which app you're on.
Productivity folder. Reference folder. Notes. Bleacher report. News folder. Spotify.
If I want to pull up my control center, I just swipe down from the top of the screen until I hear 2 kind of popping sounds. They might be a little tough to hear on the audio here.
Control center.
Okay, so now I'm going to look for the volume control.
Screen brightness. Volume. 47%.
Okay,
Adjustable.
47%.
Swipe upward.
Now I'm going to flick up with 1 finger to increase.
57%.
And now I'm going to flick down to decrease the volume.
47%. 37%.
And if I want to go home, I just slide from the bottom until I hear 2 kind of popping sounds. The second one is higher pitched.
Messages.
Just some really basic gestures to show you how VoiceOver works. The controls are very similar on the iPad. The biggest difference is that you can actually multitask. You can have 2 apps open at the same time on the iPad. The Apple Watch you can flick back and forth as well, double tap, but this time you get the assistance of the digital crown if you want to navigate like that instead of constantly flicking on the screen itself. On the Apple TV, the Siri remote has a touch area on the top half of the remote where you can do all the touch gestures. Well, not all of them, but a good amount of the touch gestures that you can do on the iPhone. On the Mac, it's a very different thing because there's a lot of keyboard commands for VoiceOver on the Mac. Granted, there is a feature called Trackpad Commander, which lets you do a lot of the same gestures that you can do on the iPhone and iPad to control VoiceOver on the Mac, but I just feel like you have more control with the keyboard commands. And granted, VoiceOver is awesome. It's an awesome piece of assistive technology, but you know what? It's still technology, and sometimes technology will be technology. Now, it's great to be using VoiceOver the way I explained it already, but have you tried using it without a screen?
Screen curtain on.
And yes, I do use my devices without screens. Like the phone right now, I had to turn it on just to show you guys. The majority of the time, I'm using my iPhone without a screen. My watch, the screen is always off. The iPad, the majority of the time, it's off. And even on the Mac, I'm using it without a screen most of the time. If it wasn't for me doing video edits, I would actually be using it without a screen as well for the most part. I know Final Cut Pro is compatible with VoiceOver, and I'm trying to learn as best I can how to edit with VoiceOver. And once I get into just the tweaking portion, then I need to use a screen. But still, I mean, any screen time that's cut down is great for me. So you're probably wondering how to do that, right? Well, on the iPhone and the iPad, what you do is you take 3 fingers, you triple tap them on the screen, and it turns on the screen curtain.
Screen curtain on.
And that's how you do it. And to turn it off,
Screen curtain off.
same thing. Your friends and family, oh, they're gonna love you for that one. Actually, let me show you how the voice dictation works really quick.
Instagram.
I'm going to go to Instagram, and I'm going to message Emily, just telling her that I finished filming, or that I'm filming it right now.
Fashioneyesta. Write a message. Voice message. Button.
Hold on.
Write a message. Text field is editing. Insertion point at start.
Okay,
Use the
so
rotor to access misspelled words.
just double tap with 2 fingers to start and stop dictation. Hey, comma, filming my video right now, comma, but also messaging you because I want to show people how voice dictation works with VoiceOver, period.
Insert a K. Filming my video right now, but also messaging you because I want to show people how voice dictation works with VoiceOver.
I'm gonna go hit send.
Stickers. Button. Send. Button. Send.
And there you go. Now, while I use VoiceOver without a screen, I also don't have the speaking rate like this. It actually speaks faster.
Handwrite. Words. Character. Speaking rate. 69%. 74%. 79%.
This is the speed that I use it at, actually.
YT Studio. Facebook page. TubeBuddy. Snapchat. Recently updated. Double closing social media folder. Social media folder. 11 apps. Double tap to open.
And that's the speed I listen everything to. Everything's at 79%. I mean, for some people, it's not very fast. For some people, it's extremely fast. It really depends on how trained your ears are with VoiceOver, but this is my ideal speed. When I'm reading an ebook, I tend to turn the speed down a little bit just so I can better understand it, just to take it in better, because it might say a few words a little too fast for me. I'm very grateful that I was taught how to use VoiceOver, because it's great that screen readers are able to do this, not just for Apple, but for all products that have them. I'm so glad to be using these products, and I can't wait to see what Apple and everybody else who makes assistive technology, what's coming up in the near future. So I want to thank everyone who's ever worked on this feature, because you guys have made quite a change in my life and quite a change in many other people's lives as well. I want to thank Emily for doing this collab with me as well. Please go check out her video on her channel to see how she uses her technology for her needs. Anyway, I will talk to you folks in the next video, and yeah, I'll see you folks later.